Well, hey there again, everybody. Welcome back to another tutorial. In this one, as you see, I'll be showing you all how to build a tornado. As always, I hope that you all enjoy this build and tutorial. If so, please drop a like down below. Now, let's get this started. Well, hey there again, everybody, and welcome back to another video. As you see in this one, I'll be showing you all how I made this massive tornado, everything about the tornado, and also the clouds above. As many of you already known and seen, I made a 15,000 subscriber special video on this tornado. It was a time-lapse video, me building it in the farm that it's on. If you haven't seen that, go ahead and check it out. It's pretty cool. So in this video, I'll be showing you all how I made this tornado, all the steps that I had to do. It was my first time making something like this. Don't skip through the video because you may miss something that's very important. It's going to include how to set everything up, the tools I used, how I made it look like it was actually spinning, and all the floating blocks and things and details that are just in the air. Also the blocks I used and everything else. So again, pay close attention and let's get this started. Alright, now obviously the first step you're going to need to do is find out where your tornado is going to be. Now once you found out your location, then you're going to have to find out your blocks you're going to use. Now in this texture pack for the tornado, I used the tinted glass full blocks, the black stained glass full blocks, and also the blue stained glass full blocks. These are the three main glass blocks I used on the actual tornado itself. Now I'm going to go through different steps, so pay close attention. Again, everything I'm showing you in this video are the steps that I use to make everything faster and easier to make this tornado. I use my world edit machine, which I have a tutorial on this channel, so check that out. I'll go ahead and link that also down below in the description. Many of you had problems with it. Just make sure that you know what you're doing and pay close attention when doing the world edit machine. It's very simple, only uses one command block. Now in my world edit machine right here, I used the three main blocks again that I showed you a second ago, and also the light block. So I went inside here and I randomly put these three blocks. Now it does not have to be perfect like I'm doing mine. As you see, mine is completely random in here, and just make sure that you just rotate throughout these three blocks that you're going to be using. And if you're using this world edit machine, make sure that you utilize the full area and just go around it like I am and just completely randomize all these blocks and make sure that you have plenty of room, plenty of space throughout this area here. Alright, so once you've got something like this right here, again, completely random, then what you're going to do is take your light block and you're just going to place one there and maybe one over here. Okay, you don't need but maybe one or two in there. Now once you've got that, then you're going to go to your area. Alright, now let's say that I want to make the tornado right here. Let's say this is your area that you want to do it. So as you see down below, I have a wood axe. That wood axe is my paintbrush. That's how my world edit machine works. So you see it's in the first slot. It has to be in that first slot, and I have to move down below on it. And once I move on it like this, it will activate it, and that's where it will spawn in or clone the blocks. Okay, so if I move somewhere else and do it, and move somewhere else and do it, each time I put it in my hand, it will do that. See? Drag it, it would do this. I don't want that. Okay? That's too cluttered up, and that's not how I done mine. So now that you see how I have to do this, switch back and forth, now you might understand how I done this. So let's say I come right over here, I start down here somewhere, and I do this. I come up and I slowly one around like this. I get me a point started, and I just slowly come up around, and when I make the full circle all the way around, something like this, once I came around like that, then I go up a couple blocks and I come out 1 or 2 blocks, and then I just come up just like this, again going back and forth with the bottom how I showed you, putting it in my hand and taking it out of my hand, and I just go around like this in a full circle, and then whenever you meet up over here, then again you go up a couple blocks and you come out. You can make this as dense and thick as you want by not going up very high, not going out very high, and making it thicker and darker, or you can space it out a little bit. It's all up to you. Remember, all tornadoes are different. It's just like building a tree. They're completely random, they're messy. That's what they're supposed to look like. So I'm going to do one more round. So I'm going to go up and I'll come out. Wherever your crosshairs is facing or pointing at, that's pretty much where you're going to be painting this or world editing this into. So once I go all the way around, which I'm almost done, let's see, right over here will be the full circle. Alright, so once I got this now, you can already see. Now remember, this was a very quick thrown together demonstration, but you can pretty much see what I'm going for here. Okay? Remember, the point of your tornado needs to be something like how I have mine here. It doesn't need to be a very, very sharp point. And remember, just go up a couple blocks and come out a block or two. Depending on how you want yours shaped, it's all up to you. Alright, something that you really need to pay attention to, the reason why you have the light blocks in that machine is that way that they'll clone into your build. As I built my 15K subscriber special video on this tornado, I didn't realize that, and my entire tornado and farmland was completely pitch black, and I was very aggravated because everything I couldn't even see. I couldn't even record it. So I had to go back in and light everything up, and I'll explain that later. So remember, the light blocks are very important. Don't overdo them because you see how many are in here. Remember, when you don't have it in your hand, nobody will ever know that they're there. Well, now that you all understand how I done the main structure of the tornado, now I need to show you all how I added all the details. Right now, the bits and pieces around the tornado to make it look like that it's spinning or rotating, I'm going to show you that real quick. So this one right here, for example, I used the ice block. Now all of these are in the same formation. So they start at the bottom here, they go up at an angle, and they end here. None of them are the same, and I'm going to explain all that in just a second. But they all go in the same formation like this. Okay? So I used the ice blocks. I used the black stained glass panes. I used black stain full blocks. And I believe I used something else. Yeah, right here. I used the blue stained glass. Now remember, I started here, went up at an angle, and I ended right here. So all of these are in the same formation. None of them are the same shape, but as you see, they start at one point and they end at another point to make it look like that it's all going in the same direction. Alright, now back to your world edit machine here. So make sure you go ahead and clear it out, grab your light block, and make sure that you get rid of these. Now it's completely cleared. Then you're going to take your block of choice, this one here, and just make one single block right here in the middle. Depending on that block, this block, the stain pane block, or an ice block, you're going to go back and forth on each one, but that's what I'm going to do, just one single block. Alright, now this next step that I'm about to show you is going to be a step that's going to be much later, once you have this going up about 200 blocks to the clouds. I'm making a very small demonstration, so remember that. So once you've got your entire tornado from the ground all the way up to the clouds, it's like 100 times bigger than what I have here, then what you're going to do is you're going to start down here somewheres, take your wood axe, you're going to go up, and you're going to do like this, you're going to take it out of your hand. And that's exactly what I done. And then I went up around here somewheres, put it back in my hand, and I just went up like this. Just like that. I did this all the way around, put it in my hand like this, going up like that. And try to keep the shape, try to go in a circle when you do it. Now, you're going to do this from the ground all the way up to the clouds, and that circular rotation formation, you're going to go back and forth to your machine, putting in your black blocks, doing the same thing I just showed you, going back to your machine, swapping it out for your ice, your black stained glass panes if you're going to use them, and that's pretty much how I've done those. Alright, real quick, I'm just going to go ahead and add another little section right here. So again, I went in here like this. I'm using ice this time so you can see. And I just simply went up like that. It's really that easy. Alright, now the next step, I'm going to show you all how I have all the little bits and pieces floating around. For example, this tree right here that's being sucked away. You see these little bits and pieces? They're buttons. They're stuck onto a barrier block. So if we look up at the tornado, you see thousands of them going all the way up to the clouds, all the way around the tornado. Now remember, if no one has this in their hand, they'll never see it, so don't worry about that, just like the light block. Okay? So let's go ahead and keep this in our hand so I can show you. So I have throughout here buttons on different sides. I have stone buttons, I have black buttons, I have different buttons just scattered around all throughout. Now I use my machine by doing this as well. So the buttons looks very nice. As you see, it just looks like bits and pieces of the ground and plants and debris just going around. Also, I use the barrier blocks right over here. There's a cow. I have two cows in this tornado, one here and one on the other side further up, and I just have him simply encased in here. That way it looks like he's been sucked up. Also, I have signs on the barrier blocks as well. Alright, again, now back to this machine. So I'm going to take the barrier block here, I'm going to place one here, one up through here, and remember, this is completely random. I'm just going to do 3 for now. So I'm going to take this one, I'm going to place there. On this one, I'm going to place a stone on the side. And this one on the underside. Let's see, I'm going to go up one more so I can go on the underside here. And I'm going to place this one. Alright, so once I've got those in there, then I'm going to go back to my area. Alright, now remember, when doing this step again is when the tornado is about 200 blocks tall. And I'm just adding in extra details. So, as I showed you before, just go in here, put it in your hand, and boom, like that. And you could situate these. If you don't like how they look, just simply get rid of some of them. Go in through here and just do this. And this is pretty much how I've done it. Now I had different buttons in there. I went back and forth, swapped out some buttons, added some buttons. But that's pretty much how I've done the buttons. Alright, now don't forget to add bushes, dirt blocks, different items inside your tornado, because you need to have it look like things are being sucked up into it. Like for example, right in here I have just a few bushes with some branches from some trees in there. Just a random bush up through here. Slabs, signs, just random things all throughout. That's very important. That just gives it more texture. Also, another thing I need to make a point of, you see this right here? It starts there. It's like the white looking. Starts there and it goes up at an angle. And it goes up to the clouds. I did that to make it look like it actually has a vortex to it. And remember, the same shape is with the bits and pieces around the tornado. And I did that all the way around the top portion of the tornado. None of them are perfectly shaped. Again, tornadoes are chaos just in the sky. So remember, it doesn't have to be looking perfect. Some of the vortex parts are a little fatter. Some of them are a little shorter. Angled a little bit different, but as you see, they start there and they go up at an angle into the clouds. And I did that with different sized ones too. So there's a big one, here's a small one there, and then here's another big one, a little darker. Here's a much larger one here, it goes further down, it goes up. Again, all random. Make sure that you keep it that way. And switch out your blocks each time you go back and forth. Now with these vortex white looking blocks, as I went up, I used different textured white blocks. In this texture pack I used the dorite, the white wool, the gray wool. I mixed in a little bit of dark, so some gray concrete in there. I have also the gray concrete powder, which was a big headache. I do like the color and texture, but as you see, I have them setting on top of a block as I went up, because I had a big headache with it, with them falling down. I had to delete and get rid of them down below. So be careful and be cautious of that as well. But those are the vortex type blocks I went through here. I also used the clay blocks as well. And also the black stained glass panes in there. And the blue stained glass panes, just to give it a texture to it as they went up. And again, real quick, when I done that, I also used the world edit machine. I just started, if let's say I was going to put one right here, I would start right here, like in it, and then I slowly came out. And slowly went up, up and up and up, and then I would end up in here. I'd have the top portion a little bit thicker, pointed at the bottom. Well, now that's pretty much it for the tornado itself, all the textures and the techniques I used on it. Now I need to explain how to do the clouds above. Now as you see, they're all lit up. and they're textured as well. There's some black ones in there, some darker gray ones. Now remember, the sun can't come through this, so everything down below was dark. So what I had to do, again, light blocks. Yes, there's thousands of these light blocks down below. Once I had everything built, I noticed that all my work was hidden away. None of this I could see, none of it I could record or use. So what I done was I put the light blocks in a structure block and loaded them in. Remember, nobody will ever know or see these if they don't have these in their hand. So all these light blocks are very well needed if you're going to be doing a very dense cloud formation like I have up here. Also, up through here was completely dark. You couldn't even see any of this up through here. It was all shadowed, and as you see, I have light blocks all through here as well, just scattered around. My entire farm is covered in these light blocks. My forest floor, all the way to the main road, my house, my barns, everything is covered in these light blocks. Again, only because nothing was able to be seen. Everything was completely pitch black. Here's a little example of what I'm talking about. Some of you may know that I build up off the ground. Down there, the main ground, and I build up. So everything, as you see under here, you see how black and dark that is? You see how that's seen over here? Well, this area is my structure block for my trees. I'm not trying to get off subject here, off topic, but as you see, everything is lit up and saved in the structure block, and that's how I use that. Right now, again with the clouds, you see how they're textured on the tops like this, and how thick they are, and then as you see at the bottoms, they're like this here. You see how dark that is up under? Nothing's being seen. Well, there's no light blocks in there. So whenever you do this, you're going to have light blocks up under your clouds. You have to use a structure block. If you don't know how to use a structure block, I have a tutorial on it as well. It'll be down below in the description. So go ahead and put down a structure block and make sure you come off the ground 5-10 blocks like I have mine. You're going to go inside of here and you see the red X. You're going to make that a 64. And then the blue Z, you're going to make that a 64. And what that's going to do, the red line is going that way, is going to be 64, and the blue line going that way is going to be 64. Now you see the green line from here going up, that's only 5 blocks tall. We're going to need that green Y there instead of a 5 for 5 blocks tall. Let's go ahead and do 40. Let's do 40 blocks tall. So now we have an area inside of here. So once you've got this, then you're going to go back to your machine. Alright, now back to the machine here. So again, use your cloud blocks in here. All random. However many that you're going to have. I'm just using these two to make it quick. So you're just simply going to take all this inside of here. Use your entire area in here. And completely randomize all your blocks. Now I just done this real quick just for demonstration. Let me just go ahead and put one right there. You get the idea. Spend a little bit more time on yours. Alright, that's good enough. Now take your light blocks and just place 2 in here. Alright, you don't need more than that. Then you're going to go back to your area. Alright, now once you're back at your structure block area here, then you're simply going to take your wand or your wood axe inside here, and you're going to go ahead and do just like what I'm doing. You're going to go a little bit below the blue line, a little bit above the blue line. And you see, I'm outside of the blue line, as you see here. That's on purpose. So you're going to go in and out like this and go back and forth. Remember, do not drag it like this. I know that seems like that's going to save some time, but you don't want it to look like that. You want it to look nice and airy and broken up. So you're going to do this here. You don't have to do the inside, only what's seen. Most of my clouds above is actually hollow, but no one would ever known that if I didn't tell them that. No need to do extra work if not needed, right? So you just go ahead and do this right here. Do the entire area. Now, if anything, if you're able to see through and you can see that it's hollow, then you can come inside of here like this. And yeah, you could kind of drag it along to cover up, or nobody can see if you would like to do that. But I didn't even do that. I left mine nice and airy looking. So you just go back and forth like this, however tall that you want yours. Mine was about 15-20 blocks thick. Some places were 30-40 thick. So just go through here. Once you've got your top reached, let's say that's the top of yours, then you're just going to simply, you can mark it, come on across like this, so you can have a straight line, and just kind of go like this right here. You can play around with it. It's pretty fun, pretty satisfying. And just do this here. Get the top of your clouds fixed, the side of your clouds fixed. And remember, don't make it completely flat. Go in through here and just kind of throw in a few extra like this right here. Alright, now I'm going to use this as an example here. I have it pre-built already. Remember, put in your light blocks underneath. That's where I messed up on mine. When I made my build, I found out that I needed to use light blocks. So remember, use light blocks. Now, when you have everything in line like this, you're going to go in your structure block. Remember, I have a tutorial on structure blocks. I'll leave it down below if you don't know how to use them. On the structure name here, just name it whatever. I'm just going to put in Cloud 1. Right here, make sure it's on save, on mode, and then come down here and hit save. And once you've got that, then you're going to go up in the sky. I'm going to do mine over here because all this is going to be covered up. Mountains and things like that. So I'm just going to go right over here. Let's say I'm 100 blocks up in the air, okay? What I'm going to do is I'm going to take my wood axe out, and then I can take my structure block and set it on top of that. Remember, I'm 50, 60, 100 blocks in the air. I ain't got to build up. All I got to do is do this and place my structure block on it. So once I got that on there, I'm going to type in the same exact thing that I saved it as, Cloud 1. Remember, you're going to have to put in whatever you saved in there. On the mode, you're going to hit load, and then you're going to go down here and hit load. And boom, it's going to load that in. Now, great example, you see how dark that is down there? You see how black that is? Again, because I didn't use the light blocks on this one on purpose, that way you all can understand. So make sure that you all do the light blocks. If it had light blocks, everything would be nice and seen up under. So that's how I done my clouds up in the sky. I took this same level here, went out about this far, and I did the same thing. Load up top, and load at the bottom. And then boom. Just like that. And then once I had my entire farm filled up with these, then I just going around the edges, which I'm not 100% done doing it, but I'm gonna eventually go around the edges and kind of fade everything out. That way it's not flat like this. And remember, whatever's in your structure block you can load in to overwrite or cover up things. So for example, if there was any areas that I wanted to delete a 64 by 64 or however tall, I would take the structure block and put nothing in it. That way it's nothing but air blocks. And when you go to load it in, it will take out that like a big eraser. But pretty much once I have all this filled up like I want it, then I'm going to go inside of here and fade everything off, pinch everything off, make sure that it's not so flat like this. And yes, you see it's hollow like I showed you before. But up top, you see how randomized everything looks? And it goes on for hundreds of thousands of blocks that way. It just looks so satisfying. And remember, this is a storm, so put in some darker clouds, scatter them around different levels. Parts like this, it's got darker blocks. Areas that do not have the light block is okay. All different levels and scattered around. Alright, very important, if you want yours looking like mine, no Minecraft clouds in the sky, only these type of clouds, because they will not look right if they're mixed. Go ahead and pause your game. I'm on PS4, so yours might be a little bit different on something else. But on here, I'm going to go to video. I'm going to scroll down. And on mine, it says render clouds. As you see there, I have it off. I don't like my Minecraft clouds in there. They're ugly. They get in the way. Especially if I do a skyscraper or something like that. It cuts into it. I hope that you all enjoyed this build and tutorial. If so, please drop a like down below. Thank you so much for watching, and if you haven't seen the big video right before this one on the time-lapse, make sure you check it out. I'll leave it down below in the description. Thank you all again for watching. Stay tuned, and I'll see you all next time.